All rise for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Hoover didn't know he didn't have to. He's the president of the bank.
Okay. Welcome tonight to the December 10th, 2015 meeting of the Board of Trustees. We start out with the recognizing the Employee of the Month, and this month is Tara Oliver, Justice Court Clerk. She was hired June 26th, 2007, and the judge recommended her. Tara Oliver left the private sector to fill the position of clerk of the Southampton Village Justice Court 8 years ago. Like many occupations, the job of the court clerk has evolved into the changing of technology and legal precedents. Some are simple changes, others are more difficult. Either way, Tara makes these adjustments with ease. Tara is approachable, has exemplary interpersonal skills, and a terrific personality. Tara, with the utmost professionalism, facilitates the justice system in our village, where defendants, defense attorneys, the district attorney's office, police officers, traffic control officers, and judges converge to participate in 5,000 dockets that enter the court per year. For that, we congratulate Tara Oliver, the Southampton Village Employee of the Month. Tara is a great person, and yeah, we're lucky to have her. So congratulations, Tara, for being recognized by your peers. We have public comment. We have a couple of people that have signed up, but Howard, I know that we've got it. Howard? Yeah. There's a whole board presentation, so I know you signed up here. Evelyn Conrad, you're up.
Sort of an exercise in futility, because 2 weeks ago, Tuesday, I gave every member of this Board of Trustees, and let me assure you, a lot of other people thereafter, copies of some documents that show, and I'll explain it to you again, that this village and its residents have had asbestos spewed on them every time a house from the 40s, 50s, or 60s, built any time before January 1, 1974, was demolished, because they've been demolished without obedience to Rule 56, which insists on an asbestos inspection. Now, what I found in the file, what I gave to you, the file from 118 Burnett Street, was a bogus report by an actual inspector sent by the spec builder on the day of the demolition, doing a visual inspection. Well, of course, that's a total farce. You're supposed to take samples before demolition permit is given. Our building department has been routinely giving demolition permits without an asbestos inspection, which in every case of a house of the 40s, 50s, or 60s would have resulted in asbestos abatement. Instead, this stuff has been spewed out. Now, Mr. Mayor, I would like you to look at one particular document. The documents that were missing from the file, you have those under separate cover. I gave them to you. Documents that were no longer in that file. One of these, which is labeled to be read into the record, is from the spec builder, where she refers to a 1950s dilapidated asbestos shingled ranch. Furthermore, there were other letters by her which said the same thing. This letter was addressed to the ARB. Now, you may not have gotten a copy of that. However, the next letter, which was written by the neighbor at 116 Burnett Street, was CC'd to you. And I will read just a small part. Of course, you've got it. You can read it yourselves. But I don't think that this presentation appeared on TV. In any case, I would like more people to know about it. I'm quoting from that letter, which is no longer in the file. By the way, it is a felony to take things out of an official government file. As you know, 118 Burnett Street was built in the early 1950s and was full of materials containing asbestos. Over 3,000 building materials contained asbestos in the 50s. It was impossible to build a house during that time and use no major materials that did not contain asbestos: insulation, plaster, kitchen, bathroom flooring, to mention just a few. Then I'll skip down further. Mrs. Garland, her contractor, and the village building department received a stop work order on May 6th from the New York State Labor Department Asbestos Control Bureau twice and ignored both orders. Norsec carted this stuff out in open carts, didn't even water it down, all through the village. And at the last paragraph, it's the last thing I'll read to you. Since New York State Labor Code rules and laws were not followed, how can Mrs. Garland have a legal and valid building permit from the Village of Southampton Building Department? This was CC'd back to the Asbestos Control Bureau, Mayor Mark Epley, Village of Southampton, Jeffrey Shapiro of New York State Labor Department, the state capital, and to, of course, the Southampton Press, which was given the same material at the same time you were and did as much about it as you did. They didn't bother to declare holidays, but they certainly did a holiday for asbestos viewing. I thank you.
Right. Anyone else from the public would like to speak? We have some board presentations here. First, it's Suffolk County National Bank. So, come on up here. Hey, Brenda, you want to jump up too? Okay. Well, this is actually, well, come on up there, Brenda. Yeah. So, I mean, what we have is just a,
I want my board to come up too.
yeah, come on up, guys. You know, over the past, I mean, how many years, Brenda, have we been, you've been working on, you and your board on the Southampton? Well, no,
About 5 or 6 years.
five or 6 years. So, and Sam was created during that time frame, and with the Community Preservation Fund purchased the old barber shop and that property, and also on North Sea Road. So the village owns a piece of property. The town and village through Community Preservation owns a piece of property. And then we've been working closely with Suffolk County National Bank on the northern adjacent piece of property. And it's, I know a lot of work has been put into this, and you know, Mr. Bulver, you were, I mean, a big part of this, and I know tonight it's really here to formally transfer the deed to the village. If you'd like to say something here.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, prepare a big speech, but we are happy to donate this piece of land. We are well aware of what the East End African Museum does. As a matter of fact, I was telling Brandon, I'm a big fan of the music that you bring in, among other things. And, I know it's taken a long time to do this because there was a lot of legal, stuff involved, but, we're happy to donate the land, and, we're happy to work with the town to do that. And I know it's going to be put to great use.
Yes.
And
And
so
this
it's
is
our
my
pleasure.
board, if you guys just introduce yourself.
I am Shonda Campbell. Cheryl Buck.
I'm Nigel Noble.
Nancy Stevenson.
And now I expect free tickets into all the events.
Just on behalf of the village, and, this is such a great initiative by a fantastic group of people. They've really, done some incredible things, and this really gives us the opportunity to take this to the next level. And without the partnership with Suffolk County National Bank and yourself, this really wouldn't be feasible, because it's a very small piece of property, it's very tight, and what you guys have afforded them with that opportunity, we are forever grateful for this. So, thank you
It's
very
our
much.
pleasure.
Yeah. So, all right, good. Thank you. Thanks, thanks. Yeah, we'll do a photo op here.
Why not?
All right, good.
You good.
Mr. Mayor, can you get in the middle with Brenda?
I'll slip over, we'll put,
hang out.
All right, great. The second public presentation tonight is the Hampton Marathon. Come on up, ladies.
Just want to think, is our second one in there?
Second, great. Just one per? Okay. Yeah.
The two sets of maps.
Great.
This one's different, right? Yeah.
All right.
All right. I'm Diane Weinberger. I want to thank you for your time tonight. We appreciate you fitting us into the agenda. And this is my partner, Amanda Miskowski. And about 10 years ago, we created the Hamptons Marathon. And it took us about 18 months to get our permits. And we had 500 runners our first race. And we committed ourselves to creating a great race that we would want to run in a community that we love and add value both to runners who came to the race and to the community. In the intervening years, we've grown to about 2,500 runners, and we have outgrown our current venue. And we are seeking to move to have the 26 miles and the 13 miles here within the village. And what we've done is we've made two proposed maps. They're just an idea of ways that the route could go. Both of them start and end at the high school, and we've gotten the blessings of the high school and Dr. Farina to use that as a staging area. And what we did was we routed one route through the village in a way to get spectators and people in the community out there cheering and spending money. And then we routed one that stays away from the village retail district. And these are just proposed ideas, but we wanted to start out with that. One of the things that we wanted to emphasize on the maps, we have the marathon, which is about 400 to 500 runners heading out Meadow Lane and back. The bulk of our runners are half marathon runners, and they would not go anywhere near Meadow. We would route them completely away. We just wanted to make that clear because it's not clear on the maps. Our organization is a 501c3, and we have for the last 9 years partnered with Southampton Hospital and Project Most in East Hampton. We are continuing our partnership with Southampton Hospital, and we've been looking at beneficiaries here in Southampton. And we have a couple of agencies that we've already committed with. We are going to be working with SYS. We are actually talking about collecting cans of food for the human resources of the Hamptons, have all the runners bring something to the race. And we'd like to make a donation and work with the ambulance corps here in the village.
Okay. So, one of the things, it is a not-for-profit, the 501c3, so.
Oh, sorry.
So-
Lawyer speak.
Yeah, that's fine.
We are a
So,
not-for-profit.
Yeah, I mean, somebody had, was concerned about the marathon coming here, had said, oh, it's a for-profit group, and like, no, it's not. It's a not-for-profit, and they donate all the proceeds, and big part goes to the hospital, which is important to us, so. I mean, it's an intense route. It's very crowded. So I know that right now, I mean, historically, you've run it the last weekend in September. And when we met, when we were talking about doing it the first weekend in October, would there be a way to maybe stage that a little bit later? Because to look at how we can reduce the number of residents we actually have here, than less people to be impacted by this. What are your thoughts about that?
We could probably go a week later, but one of the draws for our race is that we are, a lot of people use it as a practice run for the New York City Marathon, which is the
Okay.
first weekend in November. So, it fits pretty nicely to be 4 to 5 weeks before that.
We also don't want to run into weather issues, and once we get into later in October, there's potential for
Right.
rain, hurricane, cold.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
We had a nor'easter one year.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was a special morning for us.
I'm sure that's been.
Makes for an interesting run.
I mean, you've got an info sheet that you passed out. Could you just review that, so that, one thing we have the press here, we have the cameras, and then it affords people an opportunity to
Yeah.
hear about all the things that you've done.
Sure, so in the last 9 years, we've donated $580,000 all to local charities. Southampton Hospital has been a primary beneficiary since we started, and they have received over $250,000 from us since we started. In 2015, which was actually our biggest race, we had 2,100 finishers. There were fewer than 300 in the full marathon, so thinking about Meadow Lane, again, fewer than 300, just over 1,500 in the half, and just under 300 in a 5K. The course is open for 6 hours. The races start at 8 in the morning. The half marathoners are generally done by 11 o'clock in the morning, so they're all off, and the full marathoners are generally done by 12. We estimate, given the way the industry looks at road races, for every one person who runs a race, they usually bring 2 people with them. So the estimate is, besides locals, you have people coming in with usually 2 weeks support who will be staying, eating, and shopping in town. That we have, when we do the race in Bridgehampton, the town is packed, and people are eating and they are shopping. We have worked, Gubbins has always been involved with us.
We like Barbara, but Justin, we don't.
I've been chasing Barbara for 9 years.
Sorry, Justin. And we've been lucky because the race has been nominated. We're a really little race on the grand scheme of races, and we've been nominated as a bucket list race and as a top 10 half marathon in the country. So
All right, good.
we'd love to keep it going. We'd love to do it here.
Guys have questions for them?
No, I think we need to talk about it, because we have talked about it quickly.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is really kind of obviously we have to bring the chief of police in, and from a staffing standpoint, with the race, it's a 26.2 miles. Obviously, one of the things that we do is we always, the cost of the race and the cost of the manpower from the village standpoint, we always pass that on to the race organizers and stuff.
Oh,
because-
to be
Yeah,
frank, we
Yeah.
fully anticipate paying for all of our police
yeah,
overtime, everything,
Right.
as
So-
we have for the past
yeah.
9 years.
So we wanted to, obviously, looking at this, we'd have to think in terms of volunteer staff and how we've managed the roads and stuff, and do we potentially go to the town and look at, because when I look at this initially, there's a lot of back and forths on the road, which shut down some of the roads, so is there a way, maybe it's redesigning the course that might go into the town, and then, and maybe there's a way to do this. It would, I think, we see what you do for Hofstadter, and I'd love to see. We're always looking at the shoulder seasons and how do you promote business and how do you promote the village, and to bring this many people in here, which would help out the merchants and the restaurants, I think would be a bonus to the community. But we don't want to shut down all the roads and stuff like that, yeah.
We just,
So, yeah,
Our race has shut down a small portion of the initial mile or two
Okay.
for the first half hour of our race, and then the roads are open. So our runners are accustomed to the roads being open.
Sure.
And we would work with, what we did we do the Bridgehampton Half, which is in May,
Okay.
which is in Bridgehampton and Sagaponic, and we worked very closely with the Southampton Police Department to develop
Okay.
a course that dealt with the issues of residents and egress and
Yeah.
made sure that it was
Yeah.
safe for everybody.
Okay.
I will tell you one thing, I'm sorry. Our whole philosophy is leave no trace.
Right.
We want to make the village, we want to make our community better, not, so we have volunteers who make sure that they rake up every single cup, every goo packet. We work with Mickey's Karting. They have volunteered their services to sweep the course for the last 9 years, and we plan to continue that. We want to make things better, not
Okay.
have people
Yeah, I-
upset that we were there.
All right.
Yeah, just a couple of quick questions for a non-marathon runner.
Really?
There's always time.
I'm walking right behind you,
Oh, yeah, exactly. You're walking really slow.
maybe in front of you.
Right.
Maybe you could explain to the public the difference between the full marathon, half marathon, and the 5K, along with, I see you have 26.2 with no retrail, so maybe you could explain the,
Retail, I have a bad handwriting, sorry.
oh, is that
It just
retail or is that retrail?
26.2, a marathon is a standard distance. It's
Right.
26.2 miles. Half marathon is 13.1. And so the majority of our runners actually run the 13.1. I'd say 3/4 of our entrants actually. We sometimes get more people who register for the marathon, and then come race day, they actually drop down and do the half. I can understand that.
Oh,
And so I just made 2 maps, one which actually routed runners through the retail district on
Okay, I
Hill
gotcha.
Street, because I wanted to offer that up as an option. I mean, I know on First Avenue in New York City, on marathon morning, every single bar, every restaurant, all the shops are filled and doing business, and people are hanging out on the street, and it's a big spectator event. I wanted to offer that as an option for us. We could also keep it completely away from any retail area so as not to create a ruckus. Something that we would work with you guys and with the town police or village police to make sure that,
so then on the no retail, you have a lot of coming back on the same, okay.
Right, yeah.
so
Okay.
they'd go up one loop
Street,
around and then
loop
come
around
back
and
down
come
the
back
street.
same way.
But again, these are suggested things.
Yeah.
You don't have to do
Okay.
it that way.
Right.
You know, this is just, when you have to map it out,
Right.
and get the exact distance.
Just trying to understand.
Absolutely.
A lot of arrows.
Yeah,
A lot of arrows.
That's right, so, we'll drive it, and,
We've done that.
and also the Pheasant Closed area is a private, they're all private roads, so we would have to work with that homeowners association to get permission from those guys, so, okay, good.
Let me ask a couple questions. I see in here, this is your East Hampton Springs course, this is what it was for last year?
Yes.
For the presentation? So how many years was it done in East Hampton?
9 years.
And in the half one you do in Bridgehampton in May?
So the September event, Hamptons Marathon and Half, in the Springs, has been a marathon, a half marathon, and a 5K. And then 2 years ago, we added a half marathon in Bridgehampton.
Just my quick concerns about it as, again, as the mayor said, bringing any opportunity to bring people in and commerce into the area is huge, obviously. You did mention this is a blip on a radar screen of marathons, but it's a huge marathon based on what we're accustomed to. The largest we do around here is a couple hundred, usually 100.
Right.
And they last for about an hour. So again, as addressed, as the mayor, you know, our police department really has to figure the staffing level of it for 6 hours.
Right.
The concern was about how long we can get people in mutual aid and so forth. So the logistics are my only concern here, because again, this is, at the time of year, it's a great boon for, as we say, get the bookend seasons. But that's my biggest concern, is getting the logistics, the police, the coverage, the safety, all that.
Absolutely.
You also mentioned that you outgrew East Hampton Town. How's that possible?
No, we
You-
have for
any-
the spring school.
Oh, the springs, okay.
school.
Oh,
The area is just too small.
Okay, so where you started from, okay.
Okay.
One of the things that the East Hampton Police Department has done, because we work very closely with them, and we meet with them right after the race and do a postmortem and go over all the details, and then again during the summer, they rely on some of the outlying jurisdictions. So I know they've brought in people from Sag Harbor, probably people from, officers from
Okay.
Southampton as well. It's really a collaborative effort, all
That's
of
what I was
which we
gonna
are
ask
happy
you.
to pay for.
Well, again, that's what I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
because right off the bat, that's a town police department, which already has 2 to 3 times what we have here in the village. So we're already starting with a lower body count of,
We do have a very good relationship with Southampton Town Police.
Yeah.
Do any of them run?
Yes, as a matter of fact, they do.
There's a couple from East Hampton, a
Oh,
couple.
we'll have to get somebody from the village.
They just nominated you.
5 blocks.
They were doing postmortems.
Are you allowing any public
Yeah, I am. So, you guys have any more questions or anything? I was gonna ask that next, see if they,
When was the event that the village has at the end of the season there,
that's the weekend before, it's Septemberfest. So initially they wanted to come in on that weekend. I said, no.
We'd rather fill the village 2 weekends.
Yeah, so, okay, good. Any other comments from the board?
no, that's my first main concern.
Open it up to anybody who has Barbara, come on.
I just wanted to say, having worked with Diane and Amanda since the inception, when they came to me with the idea, my first reaction was, you're never going to get this passed by anybody in the East End. It's just not going to happen, the logistics and all of that. And having seen what they've done, they do such a professional job. They have a race timer that is just meticulous. The runners, when we're out on the course, and I've participated in it almost every year since its inception, while we're out there, the traffic is out there, and the runners basically stay to the side of the road, and the cars go by. There's really not been an issue in terms of public safety. I think in terms of the ladies bringing it here to Southampton, it would just be a tremendous boom. This race brings in people from all over, not only locally, but out from New York City. They've had people get married, they've had people come from other states. And in addition, I think it's kind of a pride of Southampton. Our cross-country team at the high school this year went to the state meet. We, have a strong running tradition, and I think it bodes well for the village, for the businesses. I know all the motels in the area, hotels, restaurants will all be packed. So I just say that I know and I can vouch for them that if you allow them to do this and they'll work with you, they'll do it to the utmost professionalism.
Can I just one more thing, logistically speaking, well, actually to them, again, parking and, with that many vehicles coming into even East Hampton town, was there parking shuttle, almost like when we do the US Open and with large functions with thousands come in, is there anything like that
We
organized?
partner with the Jitney.
Okay.
So we do parking, we can do parking off-site. We spoke to the hospital, they've offered up a number of spaces, and they also have offered up their relationship with Stony Brook, so we could actually park at the Stony Brook campus and bus from there, and the Jitney will do all of that.
That was actually, in the interest of transparency, one of the issues in the Springs is there is no parking at the Springs School, but there is on-street legal parking there, which our runners knew about, and when we were a very small race, people just parked, and as it
Right.
grew, it was very difficult, try as we might, to tell people that they couldn't park there because they knew legally they could, and the town didn't have 500 tow trucks to
Right.
take them away. Coming into a new venue, we will make sure that parking is settled
issue.
very, yeah.
So that's an issue we hear a lot about.
Yeah.
No reflection on your, what you do, but,
We live here during the summer.
so-
We
So
understand.
you know, yes, okay.
So obviously, if you're starting and finishing at the high school,
Yes.
you would be working with the school system to make sure that no athletic events were going on that day.
Yep.
Because I think that would be, yeah.
Right, we've already,
Okay, okay, all right, good,
We are insured,
yeah.
yes.
we
Yeah.
insure every jurisdiction, the school, everyone is indemnified.
Yes. As I said in one of my emails back and forth, we can't access the insurance until January 1st, so
Okay, all right, good.
first thing we do at the first of the year.
Anyone else from the public who'd like to make comment, have questions, anything? Okay. Justin?
Justin?
I'd just like to say,
Like I said, we like Barbara, but Justin is a whole other story, so, yeah.
these events, I've been to so many, you know, when you go to New York City Marathon, they are doable. You know, there's 40,000 people running throughout New York City. It's one heck of a day. People come from all over the world for these venues to watch these races. I have to say, I participated in them, but you know, I've been a spectator a lot of years now. I haven't run in a while, and it's a fantastic family event. People bring their families. When Barbara and one of our people, Tara, ran in the Philadelphia Marathon, so I went from spot to spot to do the spectating, and I ended up hooking up with about 4 males with all their kids because all their wives are running. It's just a wonderful event, brings people in, and, you know, people enjoy it. It's promoting health. It's anything, I'm nothing negative that I've ever seen in these, you know, huge venues, you know.
Right.
New York and out in San Francisco, they had a race. They had 200,000 people run. So these things, I think, are durable, and these ladies are A1 AAA professionals, and I think they could put it on, and I think without any mishap whatsoever. And like I say, the biggest cities do it with huge numbers of people. So I've run Boston, I've run in Los Angeles, I've run New York. It's quite amazing what these events do, and it's just a healthy thing all around for families and the people doing it.
Good. Okay. Thanks, Justin.
I just quickly want to say on behalf of the hospital, we're very grateful to Diane and Amanda for all they've done for us. They have raised an extraordinary amount of money for us and any number of other not-for-profit organizations. But from an individual standpoint, they are logistic and management professionals. This is the most superbly managed race I've ever seen, and we're on site every year. I think this would be a tremendous asset for the village, and I think it would be a great thing if they bring this marathon to the village of Southampton.
All right, thanks, Steve. Anyone else like to make any comments? Okay. So what we want to do is we'll set up a meeting with the chief, and then we'll start looking at the map and stuff, and maybe there's a way to prevent us from doubling up on, you know, back and forth on the roads. And you know, maybe come up with some ideas to see what we can do to try to, you know, make this at least come back to the board and have everybody feel very comfortable about, you know, having the race here and stuff. So it was good that you did the presentation. It was, there were some comments that were made that I think that, you know, one was that they were not a 501c3, and I said, no, I think they are. So I'm glad you were here to clear that up and stuff. So do you guys have any other comments and stuff? No. So the chief's in the back there, and we will see. He's a runner too.
Yeah.
Represent the bad guys.
That's right.
Rumbling on stage left.
Yeah, that's. But so I mean, it's a, you know, it gives us an opportunity to kind of think outside the box a little bit here, and even when we have to work with the adjacent municipality to try to do something to, you know, relieve some of the roads, I think that's a good thing. So, but yeah, I'm always interested in bringing people to the village of Southampton and helping out our economy. So, and we like the hospital too. So. Any other comments or questions, guys? Okay. All right, good. So we'll be in touch. We'll set something up with the chief and maybe another board member and myself, and we can start looking at this to see if it's something that we can get support from.
And we're happy to address any questions via email if they come up before
Okay.
we can come back and
All
meet
right,
with you.
guys. Okay.
Thank you very much
you.
for your time.
Thanks.
Happy holidays.
Thanks.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thanks for coming out, guys. Thanks. Okay. Public hearings? We have no public hearings, and let's go to suggested resolutions.
Okay, Item 1, resolve the reading of the minutes for the work session of November 24th, 2015 be dispensed with, and those minutes be accepted as filed by the village administrator, and that the actions taken at that meeting be and hereby are ratified and approved. Have a motion?
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the claims for the warrants dated December 10th, 2015 totaling $190,806.50, warrant 9 general fund, $214.10 and $429.59, warrant 7 and 14 trust funds, $191,919.54, warrant 7 capital reserve fund, and the village payrolls for the period from November 26, 2015 to December 10th, 2015 be ordered and approved. Have a motion? Second?
Second.
Discussion. Item 1, All Data, annual renewal for the auto diagnostic system, 1,500, Atlantic Salt, 121 tons of salt, 9,549.61. Page 2, going on to page 3, Buzz Chew, parts of the garage for November, 7,276.75. Bottom of page 3, Cash Productions, videotaping services for November, 1,941.65. Page 4, Coastal Fire Systems, protective boost for the ambulance department, $3,980. Page 5, Dunn Engineering, engineering for the culvert on Halsey Neck, $20,172.50. Eberhard Nurseries, shade trees for the Parks Department, $1,620. Page 7, Ricky Fowler, reimbursement for a training conference, $3,119.26. Page 8, Hampton Truck and Auto, garage parts, $1,272.06. And Herrick Hardware flowing on to page 10. Supplies, Building Department, $1,343.72. Human Resources of the Hamptons, CDBG, 2015 funds, $5,370. James Lynch, irrigation work at 370 Hampton Road, $1,890. Johnson Electrical Constructions, traffic signal maintenance, $1,730.27. Page 12, Lynch's Garden Center, supplies for the Parks Department, $2,649.35. Page 13, Malvisi Equipment, parts for the garage, $2,156.64. Mayday Communications, computer upgrade for the Police Department, $2,305. Messiano Consulting, grant writing services through November 30th, $3,125. Northern Water Supply, flowing on to page 14, parts for the garage, $1,838.52. Page 15, Norsick and Son, carting for the Highway Department for November, $4,352. Page 17, Priority Dispatch Maintenance Agreement for PD, $1,395. DSE&G Electrical Services for the Fire Department, $3,089.50. Page 18, Rosemont Construction, paving of the West Alleyway, $18,355.75. Page 19, Southampton Daycare, Community Block Grant Funds, $5,953. Southampton Social Club, year-end party, $3,000. Page 20, Suzanne Hand and Associates, transcripts for the Sam Bob versus the Village, $2,829. Vince Toomey, November legal fees, $9,129.10. And Vehicle Tracking Solutions, GPS services for November, $1,055.56. And the next warrant to discuss is the capital reserve warrant, which is the last warrant in the package. JP Molding Plumbing and Heating, the balance on the heating system for Village Hall, $20,412.44. Powser Contracting Corp., work on the 25 Groves Lane wall restoration, $35,150. Rosemont Construction, redoing a ramp at 370 Hampton Road, $82,250. Squires Holden, site work for the new ambulance barn, $6,300. And Stott Architecture on the new ambulance barn, $47,807.10. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the following holiday schedule for 2016. Sorry about that. Martin Luther King's birthday, Monday, January 18th. President's Day, Monday, February 15th. Memorial Day, Monday, May 30th. Independence Day, Monday, July 4th. Labor Day, Monday, September 5th. Columbus Day, Monday, October 10th. Veterans Day, Friday, November 11th. Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November 24th. Day after Thanksgiving, Friday, November 25th. Half day for Christmas Eve, Friday, December 23rd. Christmas Day, Monday, December 26th. Half day for New Year's Eve, Friday, December 30th. And New Year's Day, Monday, January 2nd, 2017. And 2 floating holidays to be used during the calendar of the year. Have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves accepting a performance bond in the amount of $7,000 from PEP2 Holding LLC for property located at 200 David White's Lane, Southampton, New York, as recommended by Jonathan Foster, Building Inspector. Have a motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the release of a balance of a performance bond in the amount of $10,000 to Arcade Development LLC for 50, 54, and 58 David White's Lane, Southampton, New York, as recommended by Jonathan Foster, Building Inspector. Have a motion? Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the release of the balance of the performance bond in the amount of $20,000 to JEM Southampton Realty LLC for 80 Meadow Lane, Southampton, New York, as recommended by Jonathan Foster, Building Inspector. Have a motion?
Make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the release of the balance of the performance bond in the amount of $10,000 to 1050 Meadow Lane LLC for 1050 Meadow Lane, Southampton, New York, as recommended by Jonathan Foster, Building Inspector. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolved that the African American Museum of the East End is authorized to make applications for necessary approvals for its museum project on the parcels located 243, 245, and 249 North Sea Road, Southampton, New York. Have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second?
Discussion?
Discussion on this?
Rick, you want to add anything to that?
Okay, well, now that we have the property from Suffolk County National Bank, the African American Museum of the East End is proceeding with applications for necessary approvals for this project from our local boards. And so this would just authorize them to pursue those applications.
Okay, good. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And last item, resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following payments from the Capital Reserve Fund, subject to permissive referendum. Rosemont Construction, $82,250 from the Fire Facilities Reserve. Squires Holden, $6,300 from Facilities Reserve. Stott Architecture, $47,807.10, Facilities Reserve. J.P. Mulvey Plumbing, $20,412.44 from the Facilities Reserve. And Pazza Contracting, $35,150 from the Facilities Reserve. Can I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion items. Item one is, we're at that time of year again. We have the last meeting of the year, which is right before Christmas, and which is usually canceled at the end of the year. I don't know if you want to hold it or subject to anything coming up between now and then. That's
Yeah.
a necessity.
I don't see anything that is popping up and stuff. So I can make it, and if we had to, we can always call a
do it.
special meeting.
Yeah,
by
that's what we've
stuff,
done in the
so-
past, just
So, yeah.
if we had to, just call them
So
special.
I'll make a motion to cancel the December 22nd work session.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I just want to mention on the 2016 health insurance rates coming in for, starting January 1st, going up by roughly about 6%,
Yeah.
which is slightly higher than what we budgeted, but not by a heck of a lot.
Trustee Yaz? Anything new in your life?
Yeah,
No?
just came off a hiatus, yeah.
Oh,
I'll let
okay.
you mention it. But yeah, you know, the old phrase, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. But in any event, what I do want to just wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, since we will not have our year-end meeting just before Christmas. And again, thank you to all our crews for a great year. The downtown, the village business district looks beautiful. I love hearing the accolades continuously from people, from both been around a long time and new visitors. So again, thank you for all the work throughout this year, 15, with all our workers and first responders and police officers and village hall staff. So just a little quick thank you for everybody. And again, healthy, happy holiday season.
Mike?
I think we need to thank the Planning Commission for the tremendous effort on that septic presentation, because they did a very good presentation, very good job. They really covered all the areas. And, you know, it's to have a business district such as ours when, on a regular septic system is just uncalled for, really, in these days. We've got to be more diligent and pay more attention to our environment and create a better understanding of what we're doing, especially with Lake Agawam. So I'd like to thank them for their diligent work and great presentation, and of course, happy holidays to everybody. I hope you have a enjoyable holiday season.
Next one. Nancy?
Am I allowed to talk about?
Go ahead. I wonder what you're gonna talk about,
I
Nancy.
know.
Really? You had to ask?
So, I know, but,
Be a good winner now.
yeah, I am a good winner. I'm a good winner, and I hope it stays that way. But, no, last week we went up to Suffolk County Planning Commission meeting in the Hauppauge area, and we went into that meeting with the idea that we thought that the Suffolk County Planning Commission staff had recommended approving the change of zone for the Tuckahoe Center. So we all went in and we all said what we needed to say. And Barbara Roberts, who is the representative from Southampton, who lives in North Haven, I believe, but lives over in the Sag Harbor area and takes Sandy Hollow Road regularly. We have a representative from East Hampton. He was there as well. And they opened the floor to Barbara because she is the rep from Southampton, and the center is in Southampton. And I believe it's in the, I'm not sure if it's in the paper this week, but if anyone wants a copy of her statements that she made, was absolutely, she covered everything. And she basically told them that it was an impossible situation for them to have it there. And she gave every reason, and this is a woman who has a background in planning. She teaches at Columbia University. She has been on the Planning Commission for a very long period of time, I think 11 years. She has great interest here in this community and really felt in every way this was so wrong for out here. And she voiced all of that. And the other members of the Planning Commission, many of them don't live here at all, listened to what she had to say, and the vote was 8-5. I think the 5 people that voted in favor of it because the staff voted in favor. But the interesting thing is, the staff is made up of a bunch of planners. None of them live here. So one of the planners, the chief planner, had photographs that he had up on a viewing screen, like a television. They have them in different spots in their room. And he was pointing out, he had come out to take photos at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon when there isn't a lot of traffic. And he took, at this time of year, and he took photographs, and he didn't even know what was east or west, because he would say, well, this is a photograph. I think it is McGee Street, and this is the corner of Montauk Highway facing west when it was facing east and vice versa. So we corrected him on a number of things. He referred to Hubbard Lane as Hill Street. We corrected him on that. And this is one of the people who was making a recommendation in favor of it. I mean, it was mind-boggling to me. And then they had the superintendent of public works up there get up to talk about it, and he could not, his only comment was that he was sure that his department could mitigate the traffic situation out here as it relates to the supermarket. And so Barbara Roberts questioned him, and she said, well, what are some of your solutions? And he said he didn't really know what they were, but he was confident that his department would be able to mitigate it. And she must have pressed him 3 times, and each time all he said was that he was confident that his department would mitigate it. And it was like, really, well, if they could mitigate it, why haven't they? So I think all of that played into their decision, and they voted it down. So, would you like to add to that?
No, I think that, yeah, it's just, now, based on that vote, the Southampton Town Board has to have a supermajority in order to overturn the Planning Commission. But I do know that there's been talk in reference to, pushing for reconsideration.
Which I don't understand how that could possibly happen. I mean, they voted, it's done. And now they're trying to go back at it again. I'd be very
don't know.
upset if they allowed that to happen.
I don't know. I don't know what the, I don't know what the law allows,
Right.
so.
Well, that's what I'd like to find out.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's more to be said on this. I think so, yes. All right.
So, anyway, I was very happy for the community.
Victory for now.
I was happy for the community.
And thanks for all your work there too, Nancy. You put a lot of,
Something I believe in. I really honestly believe it's wrong for there, and it's wrong for our small little village streets over there. And that's why we're here. We're here to fight things that are wrong for our community.
Bill?
I think when it's appropriate that letter that this Barbara Roberts wrote regarding this whole situation is one of the most remarkable things I've ever read, and she's sort of a combination of Shakespeare and Einstein. I mean, it was just brilliantly written, but marvelously presented and so on, and she really made a very compelling, an unbelievably compelling case. I think we're probably 92% of the way through the leaves, but some people leave them in their yard for a while, so we're not 100%, even though they're all off the trees now. It's a question whether they'll be off the trees. And the other thing, I would like to take this occasion to thank the young lady who covers the village from the Southampton Press for writing a remarkably thorough and enlightening article in this week's issue of the Southampton Press on the sewage treatment pursuits of the village, and I'm very grateful, and I thought it was remarkably well done and thorough, and it even answered not just questions that I had, but some questions that I didn't even think of, which, anyhow, I'm very grateful. Other than that, to all, Merry Christmas, and to all a good night.
And I would just like to remind everybody that Saturday, in the dead of the winter here,
60 degrees.
60-degree beach at the Polar Bear Plunge at Cooper's Beach, and the shotgun goes off at 10. So you got to get there beforehand, and the village employees and elected officials only have to stick really their foot in there if that's all you're going to do, or you can go all the way in. And I encourage everybody to get there, Rick. So,
What
have to
section of the
discuss it with
village
my
code
doctor.
are you?
yeah, right,
Well, we don't have to worry about,
yeah.
the cold temperatures as an excuse. Or
We'll
snow.
have a public comment in a minute. No, not
No,
yet.
not yet. We're not done yet.
No, I'll tell you. Okay. The other piece is, I'd like to thank the Christmas committee for the work that they've done, and
Oh, it's beautiful.
the village really looks fantastic. They've
It's
done
like a snow globe.
They've done an excellent job, and then with the parade of lights and the fire departments and the ambulances who came and spent that night with the Christmas committee, and Southampton High School, the young men and women who came and sang a great job. So so I want to congratulate Trustee Yastrzemski here, who's been going to do the special election, and we wish you the best of luck here. And
Again, thank you.
couldn't be more proud. The Planning Commission, that was a great presentation. The Planning Commission, I know that the first Thursday in January, they're going to do further more information, followed by coming to this board in January to do a presentation to this board on what we need to do. So I encourage people to get there, participate. It's a lot of good information, a lot of good questions that were brought up. And then also I wanted to just take a moment, and at Brockett's the other night at the funeral home, it was an incident where an individual passed away. Actually, was revived by community members who performed CPR on the lady, and then the Southampton Police Department responded, and it was Sergeant Hertow who administered the AED, shocked this individual back. And the village ambulance had 7+ responders there within a 3-minute time frame. So and then when she was taken to the hospital, medevac to Stony Brook, did emergency surgery. She had 100% blockage and a couple of the her main arteries and stuff. And you know, it wasn't for the 2 individuals, 3 individuals who were right there. It started performing CPR. Some were volunteer firemen and who'd done all this training, kept her alive. And by the time the ambulance got there in 3 minutes, she was talking in the ambulance. And absolutely remarkable what they did. So I know that there's more information that's going to follow. You know, I know the American Heart Association always does recognizes people for a save. So we're going to be pushing for that. And congratulate, thank you to those community members. Thank you to the volunteer ambulance. Thank you for the PD who got there in that time frame. And as the doctor said to the family members of this person, that she is absolutely the luckiest person. She was in the right time at the right spot. And she was actually not supposed to go to the wake. She was supposed to be home babysitting her grandchildren. And so timing's everything. So
There was North Sea and Southampton firemen.
yep, and they did a great job. So
The police ride.
but then and finally, just in this holiday season, what I'd say is that shop locally, and you know, spend your money here in the village, support the local merchants, and support all the different organizations, and because it's important. It's extremely important. These are the people that live here, work here, raise their families here, and we need to support our local merchants. So, so with that being said, second public comment section.
Thank you. The least that was required of this Board of Trustees, with the information you had, none of which you followed up either with me or with the building department, as far as I know, is a resolution that henceforth the building department would not issue any demolition permit without strict adherence to Rule 56. This requires not a site inspection on the day of the demolition, but it requires previous taking of samples, analyzing the samples, getting an abatement program going. Now, one could call this ignorance of this issue a depraved indifference to the health of our community. It's appalling. Asbestos does not cause cancer until perhaps a decade or so later. It has now been happening for 9 years that asbestos has been spewed all over this village, or at least the environment where the demolition is going on. With the demolition of hundreds of houses, they were all, of course, so there wouldn't have been a McMansion put in that place, a large house put in that place, all houses that had to have asbestos abatement. They were all, or at least, let's say 99.5%, hundreds of houses built before 1 January 1974. All of these 9 years have been on the watch of Albert W., Bo Robinson? And if Mr. Robinson, who's a lawyer, did not know about Rule 56, and incidentally, I think the building demolition permit states somewhere, in accordance with all the relevant federal and state laws. This is a state law, Rule 56. If he didn't know about this, then perhaps he's too negligent or incompetent for the job. It's a responsible job. If he did know about it, there is certainly a state prosecutor who should be looking at this. I think you should all start looking at this. It's appalling. Thank you, though, for your time.
You're welcome.
And happy holidays.
Thanks. You too. Anyone else from the public would like to speak? Joe.
Good evening, Board. The reason why I just wanted to talk to you, when I was working at the school, the elementary school, each morning I would walk from my house and go in through the little gate up at the Parish Art Museum. And I always considered that the secret garden. Remember the children's book, The Secret Garden, I think it was called? Actually, yeah. So anyway, I passed all the Madonnas and looking down, and the beautiful trees, and the fountain with the boy and girl there, and the water spouting up. And last week, actually it was beginning of this past week, I passed the art museum, and I noticed that the fence had been taken down. I looked at it, and just from my observation of construction, I saw that the top part of the structure was sound. The bottom part, granted, looked like it needed more leading. However, they look at that, and I'm just wondering what's going on there. The other question
Well, actually, are you talking about the entire fence itself?
the
The wall?
fence was taken
The
down.
wall. It's the whole wall is being refurbished at this point in time. So all the metal fencing was taken down and was sent off to a metal shop. So they're sandblasting it, repainting it all, and then bringing it back to do reinstallation of it. And then there's some of the columns actually that are being, having to be resecured and reworked, and they're doing some work on the wall to do repointing on the wall. What else, Steve, we have for
All the coping stones,
Yeah.
it had been repaired over the years as a different composite to the original. So the ones that are, the newer ones are gonna be replaced to bring it back to the original composite of concrete. And then the older ones will be, refinished and cleaned and refinished. There's a different repointing of some of the bricks, and where the bricks have been replaced over the years that are cracked, we found a brick that will match the original brick and bring it back. And then obviously the biggest thing is opening up that middle section so that the public has more access to that property.
Because I remember there was a problem with the bricks that
Yeah.
it was almost impossible to replace that brick.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The way that it was made with whatever was inside that exploded,
Right.
the brick.
And it was a
But-
black grout and everything else, so they're all bringing it back to the original construction.
Okay, the other question I have, now, when the parish ran the property, the fountain was operating, and now you go back there, now the statuette is gone, and the fountain has been filled in. Now, the parish had a lot of the artwork which belonged to the village down in their vault, and it disappeared.
No,
Still there.
it's still there. All the artwork that's owned by the village is
I
actually
understand
it's
that
still
it was owned by the village,
Yeah.
but a lot of it had disappeared, because when I was in the position where you fellows have now, there was had a whole list of the artwork which they didn't know what had happened to it. My point is, what happened to the statue? Was the statue part of the village artwork? Is it still in existence?
You're talking about on the western side, the fountain that's right.
That's correct.
And the
copper statues.
The copper statues still, we have the copper statue.
It's actually under the
do.
stairs,
Actually-
on the west side of the building.
There's plans to refurbish that entire, because that fountain didn't work. There were issues with the plumbing and the pump, and they had actually, it had filled in with grass and also.
We did, I think, what do you call those plants,
Yeah.
No, it's all
It's a spread.
filling with soil, and
Right.
So
someone filled it in.
yeah, the idea is to refurbish that entire fountain the same way we did on the eastern side, where we actually had the fountain that was there, that we actually had to.
That stone fountain.
The stone fountain, that we worked and restored that, brought it back to life and cleaned up the area, put benches out. You see people eating lunch there all the time, and that's really the philosophy that we've got with the western side fountain. We have a local family that's going to sponsor the restoration of that fountain and bring it back and clean it up. Because, if you look at the landscape itself, the way it dropped down, A lot of the bushes around it were overgrown.
Right.
And so we have to, and all the steps that were stepping down to the fountain, most of those were broken.
Yep.
And some of the seating in the area was broken. So we've got a lot that we have to do to restore it. But I know that CMAC Sammy, who's the architect and works with us on this, who's done a lot of the work on the grounds, has working for, trying to develop that whole program to restore that beauty. So,
Good, I'm happy to hear
Yeah.
all of that. And thank you for your time.
thanks for coming out here tonight. Anyone else from the public would like to speak? Okay. So I'm going to make a motion to close the public session for, to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personal matters.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Fine.